Hello everyone. So this is Varsa Rai, Assistant Professor of Siliguri Tarai B.Ed College and Siliguri Primary Teachers Training College. And again I'm back with my another video for D.EL.ED Part 1, and I am dealing with course CPS 02, and that is Teaching Second Language English at the elementary level, as I was dealing with Unit 3 before in my previous video. So today I will continue with the same unit. So, last time in Unit 3, we were talking about approaches, methods, and techniques. So, I have given you the three differences between approaches, method, and techniques also. And I had also dealt with two kind of approaches we have in our syllabus. And then now let us quickly see or revise what approaches is. So approach in here in teaching language deals with the nature of the language and nature of language teaching and learning. Approaches also describes the nature of the subject matter that is to be taught. So before I have already dealt about structural approach and then situational approach. So today we are going to do third kind of approach, that is communicative language teaching approach, which is this kind of approach aims to make communicative competence of language teaching and to develop the procedure for the teaching of four language skills, that is listening, speaking, reading and writing. So dear teacher trainee, with the terminology communication or communicative only, we can understand or we can have an idea about this particular term, no? So in order to teach language, communication is very important. That's what this approach has to tell us about. So the four major language skills are listening, speaking, reading and writing. And then this communicative language teaching approach mainly focus on these four skills, and with the help of communication only, we can enhance our listening skill, speaking skill, reading skill, and ultimately writing skill. All right. So another thing is this approach is based on the sound psychological assumption that the active involvement of the student in the teaching learning process is must for developing the linguistic skill of the student. The concern for effective communication is more important than concern for attending mastery over the structures, no? So in a classroom, in a learning situation, in a teaching learning situation, when we interact, when we have a communication, no, between the teacher and the taught, then that is the best way for teaching language. All right, so this approach, communicative approach, is all about interaction and communication between the taught and the teacher and the taught. So this approach is usually based on the following principle. It works under following principle. So the major principles which has been given here are: language is a system for the expression of the meaning. All right, this primary function of the language is for interaction and communication, like I told you before. And then activities that involve real communication promote learning. Now the fourth one, or the last one, last kind of approaches we have is content and language integrated learning. It also falls under approaches only, a kind of approach only. So content and language integrated learning is a term created in 1994 by David Marsh and Annie Malizer as a methodology similar to but distinct from language immersion and content based instruction. So like I told you, in the case of communicative language learning, we can denote it by the terminology itself. Here also content and language, these are integrated for learning language. All right, so in this approach what happens is, for a learning content, uh, through an additional language, foreign or a second language, thus teaching both subject and the language. Here it is integrated both the content and the language, so it is not just focused to teach language. Along with teaching the language, the content area, no, the content area is also been focused. So that's why it is known as integrated learning language. So content and language integrated learning, CLIL, was originally defined as a pedagogical approach with a dual focus involving the integration of second or a foreign language study with the study of a subject domain, which is whatever subject like history, science, mathematics, etc., instructed in that language. No, so understanding the content part. So understanding the methods along with understanding the target language. All right. So this approach focus on teaching both the content and the language that is being targeted. Okay, so next we have in are the methods. So one by one I will be dealing with methods also. Probably we have four kind of methods, I guess, so that I will be dealing in the in my next video. All right, so thank you all.